Today I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Wendy Treynor as our speaker at Taft. She's a Taft alum, graduated in 1993, visiting scholar at UCLA in September of 2010. Wendy received her PhD in social psychology from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in 2004. She did her postdoctoral work at the University of Southern California before founding Healing Consulting in 2007. Through Healing Consulting, Dr. Treynor shares her vision of integrating scientific knowledge and spiritual wisdom to enhance people's quality of life. With the cancer, she discovered that the lessons she learned from science converged with the spiritual lessons she learned about life from almost dying, providing a single map, a unified picture, a sole prescription to follow for achieving wholeness and happiness, a map she now lives by and seeks to share. Wendy shares this information with others in fresh and exciting ways through her keynote addresses, her seminars, her workshops, consultations, books, and writing, so that others too may heal themselves and actualize their own potential and find freedom, peace, love, and happiness that they seek. So let us this morning warmly welcome Dr. Wendy Treynor, Taft Director.
Introduction. Thank you so much. Can everyone hear me? Okay, so before I begin, I just want a show of hands. Raise your hand if you're happy right now. Who's happy? Woo-hoo! Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, that's what I expected. It's okay. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you're unhappy. And now I want you to raise your hand if you didn't raise your hand. Okay, so that's most of you. Well, that's okay, because today I'm going to share with you my perspective on the art of happiness. And I'm so honored to be here. You know, I was a Taft graduate. I was here in 1993. And to prove it to you, I have a picture, a really embarrassing picture of me at Taft. Can we see that here? That was me. I'm so embarrassed. But in the spirit of truth, I share it with you, and the spirit of humility. So here when I was at Taft, I did theater, I played soccer, I was on varsity, I got kicked off varsity and demoted to JV. It's okay. It's okay. They thought I was fast. They thought I would be a good player, but I was a forward who scored no goals. Instead, I was very uncoordinated. It's a sad story, but I'm not here to tell that one. Okay. So the story I'm here to tell you is that in addition to being a Taft alum, I am a social psychologist and I'm a cancer survivor. And at age 29, I was diagnosed with cancer and it was knocking on my door and it woke me up. It was Survival 101. And I had to learn the art of living. So for the past 13 years, since I'd started school at Taft, I had been knocking myself out, trying to please everybody but myself. And it came to a point where I believed that the peace and joy I so desperately sought would come to me after I'd gotten good grades, gotten into a good college, gotten a good job, and then made enough money. And then I thought I'd finally win other people's approval, and then once I'd gotten their approval, I'd be happy. Well, when cancer came, it was knocking on my door, and I realized, you know, I'm never going to be happy. I don't even have much time to live. And I realized that I had to stop trying to please others and to start trying to please myself. And part of what I'm going to be talking to you today about is loving the self as a doorway to happiness. So I should tell you that I believe my cancer was emotional, and I have no scientific proof, and I can't claim other people's cancers are emotional. I can only speak for myself. And the reason I believe it is because I first felt it in my neck and in my chest when I was crying tears of profound disappointment and loss. I had been on the academic job market. I'd applied to over 100 academic positions. I hadn't landed any of them. And I'd received my last rejection letter for the job cycle that year, and I was devastated, and I wrote an email to a friend, I feel pain in my neck and my chest, and then 3 months later I was diagnosed with a cancer in my neck and in my chest. And even today, when I still feel anger, the cancer's disappeared now, I feel it where my cancer used to be. So, without joy, my life had no meaning, and without meaning, I had no will to live. And not surprisingly, before my diagnosis, I was depressed, and I was even suicidal. I had suicidal thinking, and there was a woman in my town, I was living at Berkeley at the time, she, through random stabbing, she lost her life, and I even wrote in my journal, I wish it was me instead of the old lady who'd gotten her throat sliced. And so that's as deep and dark as it got for me. All I can tell you is a week before I was diagnosed, I wished that I would get cancer instead of having to take my own life, so that way I wouldn't devastate my family. Well, what can I say? That's the sad story of my life, but it's a true story, and somehow, miraculously, 2 days before my diagnosis, I felt a window onto joy. I was driving through San Francisco when a surge of energy came through me. I felt the urge to go downtown and locate old friends and just say hi to them. I was blasting music. I was blasting Coldplay. Does anyone listen to Coldplay? Are they passé? Are they still cool? I don't even know. But the idea was, I was blasting music, and the music got in my skin and in my soul, and it fueled me with happiness and light, and I was euphoric. And the experience reminded me that joy exists. And so I want to talk to you today and tell you, joy exists. You may not be feeling joy now, but just as the sun behind the clouds on a cloudy day exists, so does joy exist behind the clouds of our negative emotion. So what we want to do is clear our bodies and our minds of negative emotion so that we can feel the joy that is ours, or the joy that we are. And all of us have joy. We just need to learn how to access it. And at the end of today's talk today, we're going to take 5 minutes to meditate as a way to access our own joy. So who's excited for meditation? Awesome. It's so awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now, what's amazing is now on this day, when I was in San Francisco and I had this window onto joy, I saw a man with no legs. He was just belly button up, balancing on his skateboard, but he was whole, he was living. This man was autonomous, free, and happy. Seeing this man made my heart weep and my soul soar, for here is someone who is so much less than me physically and materially, and yet he was so much happier than me. His body was missing limbs, but he was whole. He could not walk, but he was free. So this man had figured out a secret I had yet to learn, a secret I longed to learn. This is a rock on the bottom of the ocean floor. It has no arms or legs. It cannot run or jump or swim or shoot hoops or play lacrosse or play hockey. For this rock to wish it could do any of these things is to create its own misery for itself. And yet here it lives within the magical arena of undersea life. The envy of all birds, surely, or at least of the miserable ones. The whole feeling of envy, of wanting what someone else has, someone else's possessions or situations, isn't really what we want. All we want, really, is their happiness. And yet, happiness is available to all of us. The only true poverty is the failure to appreciate what you already have. And the ability to appreciate what you have is the only true wealth. Thank you for letting me share this story with you. So nice. Thank you. So let's take it 5 minutes from the top. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, meditate. Who's feeling happy now? Raise your hand. Right.